Introduction: Decoding behavioral shifts. Every relationship relies on patterns, established norms of communication, intimacy, and routine. When those patterns are suddenly, dramatically broken, it often signals a foundational shift. While emotions like guilt, excitement, and the fear of discovery are internal, they manifest externally in behaviors that can be observed and analyzed. This analysis focuses on 5 alleged psychological and behavioral shifts that men have reportedly identified when a partner has been unfaithful. These are not isolated incidents, but patterns of change that emerge rapidly, betraying a partner's internal conflict and deception.
2.
Sign 1. Sudden and dramatic change in intimacy patterns. The most immediate indicator of external intimacy is a radical, unprovoked change in the sexual dynamics of the primary relationship. This shift typically follows one of 2 extremes. The withdrawal response, more common. Deep explanation. After physical intimacy with a new partner, many people reportedly experience guilt, emotional saturation, or physical exhaustion, making them unable to immediately desire their primary partner. Psychologically, she may be unable to quickly switch emotional and physical proximity between partners. This results in distance-creating behaviors, constant headaches, chronic exhaustion, or a flat-out lack of mood. This withdrawal serves as a temporary, psychological shield against further intimacy, as the act of being close to the primary partner heightens the sense of betrayal. The overcompensation response, less common. Deep explanation. In some cases, the opposite occurs. The individual may initiate unexpectedly frequent or intense sexual activity with the primary partner. This is a behavioral strategy to mask guilt and avoid suspicion. By performing the role of an engaged, loving partner, she attempts to pacify her own anxiety and deliberately create a sense of false security in the relationship. The key identifier is the lack of a logical trigger. The surge in desire doesn't align with an anniversary, special event, or period of renewed connection. 3. Sign 2. Escalated defensiveness and manufactured conflict. Guilt often forces the unfaithful partner to search for a way to rationalize their actions. The easiest path to self-justification is to shift the blame, making the primary partner the cause of the discontent. The villain narrative. She begins to manufacture new flaws or suddenly elevate minor issues into major grievances. Criticisms like, "You're not ambitious enough," or "You don't pay enough attention," appear out of nowhere and escalate quickly. The purpose is to build a mental narrative where the primary relationship is inadequate, thereby legitimizing the search for attention elsewhere. Disproportionate reaction as deflection. When asked simple, normal questions like, "Where were you?" or "Who is that text from?" the response is sudden, explosive anger rather than a simple answer. This emotional overreaction is a deflection strategy. By turning the question into a conflict about your trust issues, insecurity, or controlling behavior, she forces you to defend yourself instead of focusing on the inadequacy of her explanation. 4. Sign 3. Secretive and obsessive phone behavior. The smartphone is the most critical link to the external relationship, and its handling shifts from a casual tool to a guarded vault. This change is characterized by an obsessive level of protection against potential discovery. Physical seclusion. Devices are no longer left carelessly on tables, but are kept glued to her hand, often face down, to conceal pop-up notifications or screen content. She develops a new habit of taking the phone everywhere, to the kitchen, the garage, and most notably, prolonged periods in the bathroom or shower. This ensures communication with the external partner remains unobserved. Digital cloaking. There's a heightened sensitivity to security. Notifications are silenced or customized to prevent names or message snippets from displaying. The phone, once accessible, may suddenly be protected by a new password you don't know, with a vague excuse like security concerns. Furthermore, new, often redundant, messaging apps or social platforms she previously claimed to hate might appear as she seeks secure, compartmentalized channels of communication.
5.
Sign 4. Unexplained changes in routine and appearance. The unfaithful partner often subconsciously and consciously modifies her routine and appearance to accommodate and impress the new person in her life. External grooming focus. Her efforts to look attractive are directed outward. This is evidenced by new, high-quality lingerie or underwear that you have never seen or worn with her, or a sudden, drastic increase in grooming effort before activities that don't typically require it, e.g., full makeup for the gym or dressed up for grocery shopping. This is preparation for an unacknowledged encounter. Schedule restructuring. Her availability decreases due to vague commitments and new activities she suddenly needs to do. New work commitments requiring evening hours or sudden interest in a new hobby/friend gathering that consumes her time become common. When pressed for details, the explanations are often light on specifics. Timing of removal of evidence. A significant behavioral change is the timing of her personal care. If she typically showers after spending time with you, a shift to showering immediately before seeing you suggests she is trying to remove physical traces, scents, hairs, or other evidence from her body before your encounter, which is a form of risk management. Sign 5. Emotional distance and guilt manifestations. The ultimate effect of infidelity is emotional compartmentalization, creating a psychological divide between her internal world and the primary relationship. Emotional absence. She is physically present, but emotionally absent. Conversations become shallow and surface level. She is distracted and mentally checked out of your life, thoughts, and day-to-day existence. The deep, reciprocal emotional intimacy that once defined the relationship begins to evaporate. Guilt-driven overcompensation. To temporarily alleviate her own distress, she may engage in excessively nice behavior or offer random, unprovoked gifts. These acts serve as a brief, psychological attempt to balance the scales of her betrayal and reduce her guilt. Projection of guilt. A classic defense mechanism. She may suddenly and uncharacteristically accuse you of being unfaithful or show paranoid concern over your loyalty. By projecting her own actions onto you, she shifts the focus of betrayal away from herself and attempts to make you understand her emotional state, guilt, through a false context, your assumed actions. This can also be a subconscious attempt to justify her own behavior. If you are a suspected cheat, her own actions feel less severe. 7. Conclusion. The power of pattern recognition. The underlying principle of these 5 signs is pattern recognition. While any single behavior, a change in phone use, an argument, or a new shirt, can be explained in isolation, the simultaneous emergence of multiple, previously absent, and interconnected patterns following unaccounted time reportedly forms a powerful picture. The Stoic perspective advises against reacting emotionally to these observations. Instead, the focus should be on calmly recognizing the pattern, gathering verifiable information, and then making a clear, logical decision based on reality, not hope, about the future of the relationship.